Hi friends, I'm Chelsea and I'm here with a bookshelf tour. This feels very long overdue since I have had my channel for over a year and I haven't done a proper bookshelf tour, and I recently reorganized my shelves after acquiring several books. If you saw my book haul video, I've just had book stacks everywhere, which has been driving my husband crazy. Shout out to Elder Goblin Games. And so I needed to reorganize my shelves, and I have reorganized my bookshelves so many times since starting this channel, and this definitely won't be the last time, but I'm happy with where we're at for now. And so I thought this would be a good time to show you all the books I have and also go through my physical TBR. It is quite large, I'm just telling you now. I will be exposing myself a little bit, but again, I just thought it would be fun to show you all what's on my shelves, how I organized it, and what books specifically I'm trying to prioritize on my physical TBR. I'm just going to go through those pretty quickly because it's a lot. I'll tell you the number at the end. Hopefully those of you who also have a large TBR will feel maybe slightly better or validated at the end of this video. I'm just going to show you the books I have on my shelf, how I organized it, and that will be the video for today. So flipping you around here, I got to make sure I get this right. Hopefully the lighting's good. So here is pretty much the bulk of the bookshelf. You can't really see the whole thing because I'm standing up against my bed. We're working in small spaces here. Here's the bookshelf. We have some decorations up top. I put my Harry Potter and Hunger Games, well, some of my Harry Potter, my thick ones at least. I didn't have room for those, so I put those up top. And yeah, so the middle shelves here you'll see are all books that I've read, along with the bottom shelves. And then the outside shelves, both of those are my TBR shelves. I also have my TBR cart here, which I will be going through. I'll show you all those. And then if you see over here, I have a little side shelf situation, some decorations, some book stacks, some library books, and I will go into that in more detail. But here's a little side shot. You get a little glimpse of our room here. I'll go back in front. Here we are. You can see my husband's tabletop role-playing books here. I have nothing to do with those. I'm going to start with the books that I own and go through those, again, pretty quickly, just so this doesn't turn out being the longest video ever. So here is kind of a fantasy shelf, and I didn't really change this one much. This pretty much looks the same. So I have some cozy fantasies here, the ACOTAR series, Six of Crows, Shepherd King duology, Can't Spell Treason Without Tea, and then Brandon Sanderson, mass market paperbacks. I would love to get the big floppy paperbacks of Stormlight Archive one day, but this is what we have for now. Pretty much all the books I keep are ones that I rate like 3 to 3.5 stars and above. So these are books that I really enjoyed, and if I didn't enjoy them, I get rid of them. Next shelf here, mostly fantasy still, if not all fantasy, maybe sci-fi. A couple more little series. We have some favorites here, Emily Wilde books, a couple more Brandon Sanderson, one random Harry Potter book. We also have a little Totoro. His ear fell off, but it's a little calendar thing. It's my husband's, but I like Studio Ghibli too. So yeah, here's this shelf. We got The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, Fourth Wing, Pierre Nessie, and then up here, to stand on the couch because it's really high up. We have historical fiction, some literary fiction. I tried to organize these according to size and color, a little, not really color, but mostly size. So some more favorites here, Kristen Hanna, Kelly Rimmer, Taylor Jenkins Reid, of course all my Frederick Bachmans. So those are my lit fic, historical fic books that I've read and loved. So that's that. And then here's my other shelf of books that I've read. A little bit of romance and then a little bit more literary fiction, historical, kind of just the overflow. So yeah, we have like 7 Days in June, Emily Henry, Abby Jimenez, Butcher and Blackbird. I'm still surprised that I liked it. Random, a couple nonfictions. God of the Woods I just found in a little free library and I was so excited. And yeah, some other favorites here. So those are all the books that I've read that I own. Again, we have those up above, but kind of hard to see. Let me take you over to this side shelf and go through that. So quickly here, the lighting here is bad. Sorry about that. Here's my little library stack. Who knows if I'll get to all these. I have to take some back because they're due soon, but there's some library books. These are some library books that I've already read that I'll use to talk about in wrap-ups. cute little cat here. I have my series jar and my TBR jar back there. And then I have some classics here, mostly TBR. We have Rebecca, Anne of Avonlea, Wuthering Heights, This Side of Paradise. I can't remember if I read or not. And then there were none I have read, but I want to reread. The House on Mango Street, East of Eden, Dracula, Jane Eyre, and 100 Years of Solitude. And then The Secret Garden, which is more of a picture illustration book, but I do want to read that. So yeah, little classics TBR stack, and then some decorations and whatnot. This shelf, I don't really know what to do with because these are all my husband's, well, mostly my husband's like mass market paperbacks, and there's not really a great way to display those. So I thought I'd put some pretty classics and pretty books in front of that to cover those up a little bit. I don't hate how it looks, but it's not my favorite and it doesn't match the rest of the shelves, but I don't know how else to organize those books. So we have some pretty ones here. I love these covers. They kind of match too with the greenery on the outside. And then you can tell I like florals and greenery and gold and whatnot. These are all kind of in that style. And then just so you can see, these are mostly his books. I do have a couple classics and some Harry Potter, some smaller ones, Brandon Sanderson. I did put my Game of Thrones copy that I found. We have Narnia, Name of the Wind, Robin Hobb. So several books here that I do want to read, and then some like Great Gatsby, To Kill a Mockingbird, Catcher in the Rye, Scarlet Letter, some favorite classics of mine, but that are too small to fit anywhere else. So those are mostly read and some are TBR. So the bulk of this though will be the TBR shelves. This is full TBR, also TBR. I think I'm just going to start on the top shelf here and go through. I'm on my step stool because I'm short and this is really high up. I'm just going to go through these books on my physical TBR one by one and just name them and go through and then go down the line. So fairly quick, but you'll get to see them all and see what books are on my physical TBR. I kind of started with the intention of doing like rainbow bookshelves. I'm sure you can see the colors together, but I also wanted to do hardbacks together and I wanted to keep genres together, and that turned out to be kind of a lot to match up. So it was a little more random than I thought. I might change some of the configuration of it, but for the most part, this section is literary and historical fiction, some mysteries, some random, like we have Throne of Glass here. So it's not perfect, but it works for now. Okay, starting up here with my physical TBR, we have The Jane Austen Society by Natalie Jenner, Sisters in Arms by Kaya Alderson, A Little Hope by Ethan Joella, Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng, The Lincoln Highway by Amor Towles, The Paris Daughter by Kristen Harmel, Matrix by Lauren Groff, and then this whole series, The Henna Artist, The Secret Keeper of Jaipur, and The Perfumist of Paris by Alka Joshi, Same as It Ever Was by Claire Lombardo, Under a Gilded Moon by Joy Jordan Lake, The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón, Ordinary Grace by William Kent Kruger, A Thousand Splendid Suns by Khaled Hosseini, Orphan Train by Christina Baker Klein, Brown Girls by Daphne Palace Andredes, On the Come Up by Angie Thomas, The Secret History by Donna Tartt, A Gentleman in Moscow by Amor Towles again, The Most Beautiful Girl in Cuba by Chanel Clayton, The Winter Sea by Susanna Kearsley, The Poisonwood Bible by Barbara Kingsolver, Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, If I Were You by Lynn Austen, and then down to the next shelf, kind of continuing the color pattern, In 5 Years by Rebecca Searle, Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro, We Were the Lucky Ones by Georgia Hunter, The Great Believers by Rebecca Mackay, The Guncle by Stephen Rowley, Britt Murray Was Here by Frederick Bachman, Where'd You Go, Bernadette by Maria Semple, The Story of a New Name by Elena Ferrante, Lost Roses by Martha Hall Kelly, The Alice Network by Kate Quinn, The Dinner List by Rebecca Searle, Bel Canto by Ann Patchett, Pachinko by Min-Jin Lee, The Light Between Oceans by M.L. Stedman, I can't read sideways, yeah, Stedman I think, Beneath the Scarlet Sky by Mark Sullivan, The Bean Trees by Barbara Kingsolver, Sing Unburied Sing by Jasmine Ward, Next Year in Havana by Chanel Clayton, Far from the Tree by Benway. Okay, Robin Benway, that's weird, it doesn't say the full name. Magpie Murders by Anthony Horowitz, The Death of Mrs. Westerway by Ruth Ware, 14 Ways to Die by Vincent Ralph, Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter, All Good People Here by Ashley Flowers, When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole, The Wife Between Us by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen, and Throne of Glass and the Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. So that's that TBR section. Now we're going to come to this side, let my camera figure out where we are. We're going to go up to this top shelf here. So same thing, we kind of are going for a rainbow theme here, but again, it ended up being a little more random than I thought, but I don't dislike how it looks. I wanted to keep the hardbacks and paperbacks together. So this shelf down here is hardcovers, and then paperbacks mostly up there. And this part is a little bit of overflow, mystery thriller, and then mostly sci-fi, fantasy, magical realism, maybe some romance, random classic, and nonfiction. Quite random, but we have to work with what we got. So up here on top, once again, up on a stool, we have Caliban's War by James S.A. Corey, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clark, Ancillary Justice by Anne Leckie, Small Favors by Aaron A. Craig, The Ogress and the Orphans by Kelly Barnhill, I think is her first name. Yeah, Kelly Barnhill. 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Harrow, Skyward by Brandon Sanderson, The Crescent Moon Tea Room by Stacey Savinsky, The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch, The Night Circus by Aaron Morgenstern, House of Salt and Sorrows by Aaron A. Craig again, The Beautiful Ones by Sylvia Moreno Garcia, Garden Spells by Sarah Addison Allen, The Last Unicorn by Peter S. Beagle, Uprooted by Naomi Novik, A Darker Shade of Magic and A Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab. I've actually read both of these, but I want to reread them and then read the final book, so I guess it's on my physical TBR even though I've already read it. I remember nothing though. Then we have Severance by Ling Ma, Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, or The Lightning Thief, I never know what it's called. I think it's called The Lightning Thief, by Rick Riordan, You Again by Kate Goldbeck, The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston, The Perfect Find by Tia Williams, Out of Love by Hazel Hayes, Pack Up the Moon by Kristen Higgins, and a random classic here, The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. Still staring at me, unread. Okay, then we're going down here. We have our hardcovers, and we have The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager, The Girl on the Train, Just Another Missing Person by Jillian McAllister, The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn, Mother-Daughter Murder Night by Nina Simon, Fairy Tale by Stephen King, The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin, Starsight by Brandon Sanderson, The Younger Wife by Sally Hepworth, The Fury by Alex Michaelides, Blacktop Wasteland by S.A. Cosby, The Husbands by Holly Gramazio, Educated by Tara Westover, The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware, The Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green, Kaikeyi by Vaishnavi Patel, The Inheritance of Orchidia Divina by Zoraida Cordova, Foul Lady Fortune by Chloe Gong, Fable and Namesake by Adrienne Young, A Million Junes by Emily Henry, Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune, and Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. So there we go. Again, here's this TBR section. Again, we have my Little Classics TBR over there. So that leaves the TBR cart. And again, we're working in a small space here. So sorry if the angle or the lighting isn't great, but here's the TBR cart. You can see our sound machine and little step stool and all that. But here's the main idea here. We have some stickers here that I found. Kind of cute, kind of big for it, but I like them. Mostly bookish and tea related stickers. And then, yeah, there's some on the back as well, but I'll start here. So these first three actually aren't physical TBR because they're library books, but they're on my March TBR, and so I wanted to put all my March TBR in the front so I can easily find those. And I have two books that I'm currently reading that are not on here. That's The Naturals and A Woman Is No Man. Those will quickly go on to my read books and not my physical TBR. But yeah, here's the rest of my physical TBR. For my TBR card, I wanted to really put books that I'm excited about reading, or books on my 25 and 2025, things that I'm really prioritizing, all from different genres. So we have My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante and Matilda from Roald Dahl. Those are on my March TBR. And then we have Serafina and the Twisted Staff by Robert Beatty, Recursion by Blake Crouch, King of Scars by Lee Bardugo, The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin, Scythe by Neil Schusterman, The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson, Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson. Sorry, this is awkward. Where the Dark Stands Still by A.B. Paranik, Gods of Jade and Shadow by Sylvia Moreno Garcia, Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong, The Measure by Nikki Ehrlich, Clara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro, The Cautious Traveler's Guide to the Wastelands by Sarah Books, Ariadne by Jennifer Saint, The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, Somewhere Beyond the Sea by TJ Klune, and Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikaze Kawaguchi. And then down to this really low shelf here, Blue Sisters by Coco Millers, Miracle Creek by Angie Kim, The Berry Pickers by Amanda Peters. It's really hard to see these names down here. Long Bright River by Liz Moore, Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver, The River We Remember by William Kent Kruger, Violetta by Isabel Allende, Bringing Down the Duke by Evie Dunmore, The Collective by Allison Galen, Things We Do in the Dark by Jennifer Hillier, and The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. Finally, we have the back, and I'm going to try to show these as easily and not awkwardly as possible. So we have Born a Crime by Trevor Noah, Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reed, My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry by Frederick Bachman, The Brilliant Life of Eudora Honeysett by Annie Lyons, The French Ingredient by somebody, Jane Birch. I love that cover, it's so fun. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by, wow, why can't I remember her name? Suzanne Collins. That's embarrassing. I Must Betray You by Ruta Sepetys. Lilac Girls by Martha Hall Kelly, I think. The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini. The Island of Sea Women by Lisa C. The Rose Code by Kate Quinn. All these books are falling. And this one is The Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels by India Holton. And a couple down here. Kindred by Octavia E. Butler. Shady Hollow, Still by Juno Black. Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell, Local Woman Missing by Mary Kubica, and last but not least, certainly, Norwood by Charles Portis. So there you have it. Hope that you were able to see all of that pretty well. I feel pretty good about how my books are organized. I'm excited about the books that I put on my TBR cart, and I like that we don't have a ton of book stacks everywhere. That is kind of the goal here. And again, I think just looking through my physical TBR just to get a refresher on what books I need to be reading is very important. I counted before I started the video. I might have miscounted, but I think I have like 155 books on my physical TBR. Some of those are books that I have borrowed from my mom that she read and she's lending me to read, so I don't know if that counts, but those are all the books on my shelves that are unread for the most part. There might actually be more, so we'll say lowball 150. The high number would be like 170, but we'll stick with 150 just to feel a little better and less embarrassed. And I didn't actually count my other books, like the ones that I have read, but I would guess that I probably have about 300 total, maybe a little more. I'm not sure. It feels like a lot, but I'm happy to have all these books on my shelves, and I just love displaying them all and having books on my TBR that I'm excited to read. So I hope that was enjoyable to watch. Let me know from the books on my physical TBR which ones you think I should prioritize. If you have any favorites on there that I need to read like ASAP, let me know. Of course, if there's any that you also own or that you want to read and you want to buddy read them with me, I'm always down for a fun buddy read. So let me know about those. Let me know maybe how you like to organize your bookshelves, because I might change it up again, like I said, and any inspiration you have will be taken into account. And with that, I think that is all for now. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.